What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately about Social Security, talking about the potential 12% boost to Social Security. I want to address that. I want to also talk about that 9% increase to Social Security as well for 2023. And at the end of this video, I want to talk about the $2,000 annual cap on out-of-pocket expenses. This has to do with Medicare. I want to address what's going on there because, again, getting a lot of questions. Now, you see, obviously my background's very different. I actually had to go away for a couple of days for some business stuff. So I will be shooting here for the next 2 days. But just understand, when I was traveling, I'm looking at comments and stuff in the here on YouTube and emails, and a lot of questions about Social Security. So let's dive right into it. First, okay, Social Security and Social Security beneficiaries are going to get a massive increase in 2023. And I think we know this, we know it's coming. The 9.1% cost of living adjustment, or the 9.1% CPI report that came out, last week, right? That was substantial, that was huge. And July, August, and September, those 3 months, those are the 3 months that matter as far as CPI is concerned, as far as the cost of living adjustment, because it's the third quarter that matters, nothing else, all right? Now, according to the recent CPI report, what we're seeing is Social Security beneficiaries are likely to see about a $150 to $160 per month boost. That's, again, substantial, as long as you don't lose other benefits, as long as other things don't get more expensive. So again, problems there. This $150 to about $160 per month is going to come out to about $1,900, additionally per year, or about $5.22 per day. You're probably thinking $5.22, is that really that substantial? Yes and no. For some people, it's a big deal. An additional $5 a day is what is going to allow them to eat, pay for medications, right? Do just different things like that, go back and forth, by putting in gas in their car for, medical emergencies or doctor's appointments. So again, very important. Now, and I think we can all agree, food prices have shot through the roof. Utility payments, right, are absurd. Home ownership, right, is expensive. Even property taxes is going up. So we got to pay for those things. But the reason for this substantial increase, and this is where a lot of people are kind of misrepresenting the facts, is some people are saying there's a 12% increase on the table. The 12% increase to Social Security benefits is not anything that's technically on the table. And I say this because right now, the 12% increase to Social Security, the way news reporters are talking about this, like, oh, it's coming. No, not necessarily. The 12%, this is calculated based off of if you were to get $200 per month as an increase, and that is on top of the roughly, I believe it's $1,660 or $58 per month is the average payout for Social Security beneficiaries here in 2022. Well, if Social Security beneficiaries were to get that $200 per month increase, like President Biden promised, that would be a 12% increase. But it's not a 12% cost of living adjustment. Keep that in mind. And that's where many people are misrepresenting the facts. That is not a fact. All right? I just want to be very clear. That is not what's being said, is a 12% cost of living adjustment for 2023. Nobody's talking about 12%. There was about 11.2%. That was a possibility depending on how high the CPI report came out for July, which last week we figured out it was 9.1%. Some say that's actually low, and it could go 9.1% was the previous month. Last week, was 8.5%. So that is where some are saying that. What we could see is, even though it dropped, prices are still going up, which again, how could prices go up when the CPI is coming down? Well, we don't need to get into that. We can talk about that in a different video, but that's kind of the worry. So that's what's being said there. And again, the 12%, I just want to be very clear on this. 12% is if we get that $200 per month boost that President Biden promised. That is not the cost of living adjustment. The cost of living adjustment as of right now is coming in about it's going to be about 9 to 9.5% is the expectation. 9.5%, you're going to get between $150 to $160 per month as an increase, all right? So just keep that in mind. If you have any questions on that, you can also ask your questions down in the comment section below. Let's talk about Medicare, because what's coming for Medicare? This is one of the questions I get all the time is, well, you're saying, and I saw this when I was traveling just the other day, I saw this, why do you keep bashing the Inflation Reduction Act? Right, passed the Senate, must be good. Passed the House, right? Everybody likes it. Well, I think it's a good bill. I think it has a potential to help out millions and millions of people. But here's what I don't like, okay? Is everyone's talking about this $2,000 cap to out-of-pocket expenses. That's one of the big things. That's a big piece of legislation that was passed in the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, the reason I want to touch on this is because progressives aren't happy. Progressives are visibly upset that there was not more done for the American people, right? And so you probably wonder, well, what else could have been done? Well, here's what I can tell you. The big savings for this bill is coming from Medicare. First, this piece of legislation that was passed by Congress, right, the House and the Senate, the progressives aren't happy because it leaves out millions of Americans, okay? But the nice thing about this is this allows Medicare to negotiate prices with pharmaceutical companies. That's one. And if the pharmaceutical companies do not play by the new rules, right, they got to play by those. If they don't, they can get fined. And then that money goes back into Medicare. Okay. So this is going to bring down the cost to millions of Americans. That's great. But it's also going to put limits on the pharmaceutical companies. Here's the reason why progressives aren't happy, right? And this is how this piece of legislation works. What we know is that progressives are upset for multiple reasons, mainly these two. First, this legislation will not even begin until 2025. We're in 2022. We got to get through the rest of this year, about 4 months. Got to get through 2023 and 2024. That's an additional 2 years. You see why this is an issue? We're not going to be seeing these benefits in 2024 or 2023 and 2024. We got to wait over 2 years. Yeah, progressives aren't happy about that. It was originally supposed to start in 2023. It essentially got pushed back. So you see why progressives are not very excited about this bill. Yes, it's a big piece of legislation, but it's not what they wanted. The other reason why progressives are not extremely ecstatic about this $2,000 cap is for Medicare expenses is because this is just for Medicare Part D. Keep that in mind, right? It's just for Medicare Part D. Not Part A, not Part B, not Part C. It's just for Part D, right? So the reason why, and again, let me just run these numbers by you. Instead of nearly 64 million Americans that are getting Medicare, right, receiving this benefit, only 44 million Americans are going to receive this benefit, a $2,000 cap on out-of-pocket expenses. So that means there's about 20 million Americans that completely missed out on this one benefit. 20 million. That's about a third. That's about a third of the amount of people that were receiving this benefit. So again, that's somewhat troubling and progressives didn't like it. But the other thing there is if they would have included all beneficiaries and all prices, right, or all plans, Part A, B, C, right, including D, the problem there is then Medicare wouldn't actually be saving a lot of money. So kind of a little bit of a problem there as well. Now, here's what I can tell you. And this is why progressives saw this was a major problem, or at least in progressives' eyes, this is what they're worried about. What we know right now is progressives say that out of the 44 million people that are receiving Medicare Part D, only 1.5 million, and this report is actually out of the early 2020 report, but it says only 1.5 million people were recently reported to have out-of-pocket expenses higher than $2,000 per year. So out of those 44 million people, really, even though they're all are included in this and can receive this benefit of a $2,000 annual out-of-pocket expense cap. Only 1.5 million actually reach that threshold. You see why that's a problem? Again, and I'm not trying to bash this bill. I'm just saying that there's a wool being pulled over our eyes. That's not what we were being told, is everybody would receive this benefit. That's not necessarily what's happening. Now, out of those 1.5 million people, the average out-of-pocket expenses for the year were about $3,500. So you would save, or those 1.5 million people are going to save about $1,500 per year. Again, it's a decent benefit. It's somewhat substantial, but it could have been bigger. This is why progressives are upset. Is progressives back in, what was it, middle 2021? No, actually really the early part of 2021. Progressives were fighting to see more for people on Social Security. They want to see Medicare expanded, right? They want to see Social Security expanded. And none of that stuff happened. So again, it's a little bit concerning for progressives who keep on voting with Democrats, and well, they're not really getting the answers or the response that they want when it comes to their priorities. So again, that's kind of the issue we're having there as well. Now, this provision only including Medicare Part D, right? This is why some say they don't like what Congress is doing, because they give us this big picture. And again, I've talked about this in the past, and I've said, oh yeah, they're gonna give us something. We're gonna see it, and then we get the bill, and it's like, oh, they stripped out all the good stuff. Well, it's kind of what they did here as well. But the nice thing is, and if you look at this from a percentage basis, what I can tell you is, if the average Social Security recipient receives about $1,660 per month, and they could save, or those potential of 44 million people saving up to $1,500 per year, right? That's kind of the average. Well, that means you're going to save about almost 1 month's worth of your benefit. So again, that's why it's so substantial, because of the percentage basis. Now, I don't want to sit here and say, oh yeah, this is going to be the best bill ever. We're going to see great things come from it. I think there's going to be ways to move around this bill, ways to build off of it, maybe save some more money. But again, for Social Security recipients, there's a major boost coming. It's from the cost of living adjustment. That 12% increase for 2023, that's just kind of speculation. It's not even good speculation at all, because really nobody's talking about that. Now, I just want to point this out, okay? Because people keep on asking, do I think Social Security will get an increase from President Biden? Honestly, I do. I do think Social Security benefits are going to go up under President Biden. And I say this because I don't think he was going to bet all of everything he had on the midterm elections, which is coming up in like 3 months. I don't think he was ever going to do that. But do I think he's going to try to win more seats and help Democrats win the presidency in 2024? I do. Do I think he needs to increase Social Security to even have this chance? I do. So that's why I think something will come. I don't think it's going to happen before the midterm elections. I think if it happens, it will be most likely the end of 2023 or sometime in 2024. So that's kind of my expectation. But again, what do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube that talks multiple times a day here on a video. But again, I do hours and hours of research so that you don't have to. But that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.